We're recording? Okay. This video I need to get out by today. So I am filming this and editing it really quick. Low production. I got sweat bees all around me. Sick. Okay. Do you ever wake up in the morning and the first thing that you think is, fuck, I have to do this again? I think it's the everyday battle that high performers have to face. And I don't know about you, but personally, I don't want to feel like that anymore. And so today, that's what you and I are going to tackle. So hopefully by the end of this video, instead of first thing in the morning thinking, fuck, I have to do this again, we can say, fuck, I get to do this again. That's the goal. So a little bit of context here. This all came from a journaling session a little while back, which I will get into here shortly, but a little bit more about me. My name's Nick, and I feel like I have always seen people online that are super positive, or even people in my life that are just super grateful, super energetic, and just are grateful to be alive and breathing air. And I've never related with that. I don't know about you, but I've just never related with that. I'm much more of a pessimist and I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I wake up and I'm not grateful. Like, trying to do morning gratitude and all of those things. I've tried to do affirmations. I've really tried hard to be grateful for the things in my life. There are moments where I'm like, I can sit in nature and I can be like, wow, this is so cool, and really be appreciative. But I've just never been like, man, I'm so grateful to be alive. I just, I don't know if that's something wrong with me, but that's how I've always felt. And so in this video, and kind of the idea behind this is that hopefully by walking through some of my journaling and talking through with you, that I can maybe start to unravel that a little bit, because I feel like the more and more that I pursue my dreams and my goals and trying to accomplish things that I want to, the more friction that I meet in my life. And I feel like part of that is not being grateful, or this kind of pessimistic view on life, and I feel like it's causing more trouble than I'd like to admit. So overall, the goal is for me to become a more high energy person because I think that it's causing friction in my life in pursuit of the things that I want to achieve in life. So with all that being said, to these journal entries. So I was journaling a while back, and one of the things that I was journaling about was money, and how I had a goal of making $10,000 a month. And for me, I was like, obviously that's my goal. So I'm like, wanting to pursue that, excited about that in some way. But then there's this contradiction in the way that I felt about making $10,000 a month. Dude, these bugs are everywhere. I'm not even that far out into nature. What was I saying? There's a contradiction in feeling of making $10,000 a month. It was like, obviously I want to make $10,000 a month, or else I wouldn't have it as a goal. But then at the same time, it made me, when I was writing about it, it was like, it also made me stressed. And it made me feel uncomfortable and I don't know how to do that, and all of these other things. And it just didn't make me feel good. It was like there were conflicting things. And at the time, I was reading Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And one of those sections that he talks about, or a large portion of the book, is about pain and pleasure, and how those are kind of the two filtering systems that we have in life. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I think this is why I'm having such trouble with making this money. Whether it's $10,000 a month or more, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But setting a money target, and then if that brings me pleasure, then my system and my inner workings is going to work towards that target. But if there's any pain associated with pursuing that, then there's a conflict, and it's going to be really hard to decipher when to go after it and when to not. And so I think that's partly what my problem has been. So obviously I want to go after the $10,000 a month, but at the same time, what I wasn't realizing for the past several years of while I have this goal is that it also stresses me out, and I don't feel like I know how to do that, or I'm not the type of person that can achieve that. And so it's like this conflicting identity. And so there's like this identity shift between those two things. And so with this pain and pleasure, I realized that there's this conflicting interest. So like, I don't know if you've ever read Psycho-Cybernetics, but something that Maxwell talks about in that is that our bodies are like these kind of machines where if you set a desire, if you set a goal and you 100% want that goal, then everything in your life is going to work towards that goal. But if there's any sort of conflict or there's anything that's pulling you astray, then obviously that's going to get conflicted. Then that's gonna cause some issues there. But that's how I feel about this money goal. And I feel like whenever I think about it, I feel like stressed. I feel stressed. I feel like for the past couple of years, I haven't been able to do it, so I'm never going to actually achieve it. And there are all of these different limiting beliefs that come up when thinking about this goal. And so it's like, well, yeah, you're probably not going to, even if you write it down as a goal, even if you think about it, the underlying beliefs there are that I'm not going to achieve it and that I'm not the type of person that will be able to do that. Because the evidence that I have for myself says otherwise, right? But ultimately, I realized that I am not happy. Whether it's because of money or not, that's not really the problem. But I realized with that one thing, with the money goal, that there are certain limiting beliefs and things that I have going on in my head that are contradicting each other and causing problems. And so diving deeper into that, it's like, ultimately, I don't think that I'm like happy. And I feel like I've been struggling with this idea because it's like, do I need to be happy? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, that's a genuine question for you. And something that I'm still working on and trying to figure out for myself. But the thing is that things aren't working. The things that I'm doing are not working. The goals that I set for myself are not being realized. And that's a problem. And I feel like maybe if I were to do things that would make those goals into reality, then maybe I would be a little bit happier, or maybe just more joyful and be able to, maybe not even more joyful, but just maybe more peaceful in the way of like being more at peace with myself because I'm able to do the things that I say that I'm going to do. And this has been like a lifelong journey for me of that sentence of being able to do the things that I say that I'm going to do, which is in my origin story video. If you want to check that out, don't have to. But anyway, moving on. So through all this journaling, right? I'm just relaying you a shorter version of my journaling session, essentially. But basically, through a series of questioning and trying to get to the root of this issue, I basically got to this one question, this one essential question of how do you trust yourself when you have no authority to stand on? And this really stumped me for a while. I'm not going to lie. This really got to me. But I think what it comes down to, and again, through more journaling, is action. And just taking action. Not quite faking it till you make it. That's not what I'm saying. Not fake it till you make it, but taking action. You have to start somewhere, and that start, I think, is with action. And I'll tell you why. Through all of this, right, I think there is an assumption that needs to be, or a foundation that needs to be laid, that there's like not really a lot of self-confidence, right? Because like I was saying, with those limiting beliefs, I feel like the underlying tone is that the self-confidence isn't there, that I'm going to do the things that I say I'm going to do. And so in that way, I'm not talking looks, I'm talking like behaviors and actions meeting expectations for myself that I have internally, not from anyone else, but just for me. And so there's a lack of self-confidence, and I feel like the only way to build that self-confidence is through taking action, right? Whether I believe that I deserve it or not, or whether I believe that I can do it or not, if I do it, it's gonna be hard for me to deny that. And so whether action is correct or not, let's just assume that it is moving forward. Some form of action, no matter, and that action depends on your goals, that, it changes based on what you have set for yourself. But I think action does provide two things. And it allows you to know two things about yourself that I think are extremely helpful when trying to move towards any goal in pursuit of anything great. There are two things that I think if you have this as your foundation, then you're set. The first thing that action allows you to know about yourself is that you are capable no matter what happens, which means you're cool, you're calm, you're collected, and you're able to handle any situation. And I think this is a really important point because, again, this kind of goes back to self-confidence. And I mean like an internal self-confidence. Again, this is not external. I don't care about how I look. I'm good. But an internal self-confidence that, I mean, if you genuinely believe, just think about this for a second. If you genuinely believe that you're able to figure out any situation, no matter what is handed to you, what do you think is going to stop you? There might be some challenging situations and you have to really like think through it and figure it out and work through it. But if you genuinely believe that you're able to work through any situation and get through any situation, then think about how much less friction there is in your life. Like if you want something, you just go out and get it and start figuring it out. And what that allows you is for you to relax into yourself. So this is the second thing. Since you know that you're able to handle whatever situation comes your way, you're cool, you're calm, you're collected, you're able to relax into yourself. And there's not this internal friction or resistance or whatever you want to call it. And I think this is what a lot of people mean when they mean like nervous system regulation. And I don't have anything to back this up. I'm not a scientist. I'm not any of those things. But if you just think about it for a second, if you just go on a hypothetical journey with me, like if you're able to relax within yourself, knowing that you're able to handle anything and you trust yourself because you have been able to handle things in the past, the like stress that people often associate that are like the bad stress that people often associate with like bad health and all of those, I think that's what they mean. Like it's not that stressful. It's not like we're not meant to handle stress, but if you're constantly worried about certain things and have this anxiety around situations, around going after things, and then it's like, oh my God, like I don't know how it's going to work out, and questioning all of these things and trying to figure it all out. It's like, imagine if you're able to trust yourself and just relax into like, I'll be able to figure it out. And like a stressful situation might come up and you'll be like, well, okay, how can we handle this? And it's a very different way to handle situations in your life, because you're relaxed within yourself. It doesn't mean that you're not moving and that you're not trying to get things done. Like you could have a 16-hour day back to back to back to back, but if you're relaxed within yourself, you're able to handle all of those things and not, it's a more sustainable way to work. There's a difference in stresses, and people confuse these or use the same word for different things. People say like stress is bad, and it's like not necessarily. I think how you handle and how you respond to stress and how you view it is the more important thing. If you view stress as good because your body is helping you respond to a situation that is difficult to figure out, then you can view it as good, and there's actually been studies about how beneficial it is. I won't get into that. And so those two things I think are really important in terms of if you're trying to do anything and you have goals set for yourself. I think those two things, by taking action, if you start to feel those and understand those, then you create less friction in your life. The reason why I bring any of this up is because the confusion is that there are people that I know that are less intelligent than me that are doing all of the things that I want in my life and more. And it's like, okay, clearly there's something that I'm creating for myself that is inhibiting me from doing those things. And so how do I break that down? And I feel like these are the things that they are, is I'm not taking enough action to build up my self-confidence, and that action would provide me to build the self-confidence and then also help me relax into myself, knowing that I'm able to handle any situation, and that if any situation does come up, I'm not stressed out and expending my energy in ways that it doesn't need to be, right? And to go a little bit deeper into this as well, it's like you can feel the difference between like when I was journaling, there's this, you write abundance, and it's like I can feel what that could feel like. I feel more open. I feel better. But then immediately it's like pushed down by this like, yeah, but you're not. And so it's like getting rid of that voice, getting rid of that thing that's like, I don't know. Like I said, like I'm more of a pessimistic person, and I'm trying to cut that out because I think it's holding me back. I don't think that it's doing me any good. And I don't think that life is going to happen, as you plan it. More often than not, it's probably not. But that's the whole point, is that you're building the type of person that is able to handle a life that is unpredictable. Because you're controlling the controllable, which is you, and how you respond to situations. And you know that you're able to respond to situations well. And that's the whole point. And so life's not going to happen as you plan it. You can try your best, but it's probably not going to always pan out the way that you thought it would. But if you're open to life, and this is a hypothesis because I haven't actually lived it yet, but if you're more open to life, I feel like it won't snag you as much. Think about, you expect life to turn out in a certain way, or even if you're just like in traffic and you expect to get to your destination at a certain time, and then something happens, there's a wreck or whatever, and you're backed up, and it's like, think about all the energy that you waste thinking about like, oh my gosh, like this is so annoying and blah, blah, blah. Like all of that energy is like, it like life snagged you. I don't know. Does that make sense? And so the goal is to not waste energy on things that aren't important to the goals that I have set for myself, and to build the kind of character that is able to deal with those situations. And so all of that being said, the goal is not to make $10,000 a month anymore. It's not to have a certain amount of money by this age. Rather, it's to build enough self-confidence to become the man that never doubts himself. I think this is a really good example of what I mean by all of this. I used to be a wedding photographer, and I did it for like 6 years. My first wedding, my first lead wedding, I should say, because I was a second for a while, like a second shooter. My first lead wedding, I could hardly sleep the night before. I wanted to throw up. I genuinely almost threw up. Like just thinking about it, my stomach is getting nauseous. That feeling that I had, I can't even explain to you how awful I felt, because I was so nervous. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I just hated every second of it. And after that wedding, I was like, I don't think I want to do this, because I was working for a company, and they were like, let's make you a lead photographer. And dude, I can't even explain to you. Like, I just felt awful the entire day. I was so stressed out. I felt nauseous. I wanted to throw up, and I just like could not relax. And that didn't go away for like the first several weddings, maybe into my like first year. Every single lead wedding that I did, my stomach would just hurt, and I was just like, I do not want to do this. But I kept taking them on. I kept going. And now I've done well over 200 weddings, and I could shoot a wedding with my eyes closed at this point. No matter what happens on a wedding day, and most weddings are pretty similar, but even if something comes up, something goes wrong, a vendor doesn't show up, like something happens, I'm able to handle the situation, calm everyone down, and make sure that we make it the best day that we can. Like it's not even like a question to me anymore. Like it's more than okay. Like I literally like don't even show, this is probably bad. This is probably not great to admit, but I literally don't even look at the notes until the day of. I'm like, okay, cool, got it. Like that's how relaxed I am now. But that's kind of the point, right? That's taking action. It's like at first I felt awful, didn't know what I was doing, so stressed out of my mind that I genuinely wanted to quit and throw up. And now it's like I could do it in my sleep. There's no stress associated with it. And that only happened with the weddings because I just did the best that I could and improved when I could, here and there, by small increments, not even enough to notice from one wedding to the next. But just after several years of doing it, I can look back and be like, oh, I was awful in these ways. And so that's kind of why I think taking action is key, no matter what it is. You have to figure out your inputs. If you're writing a book, you gotta start writing words, even if it's messy and unorganized and doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to make content, you gotta pick up the camera, you gotta pick up your phone, and you gotta start recording. If it's outreach, you gotta get a list of prospects. Get a list of people's emails or phone numbers or whatever. But no matter what it is, you will feel like an imposter at the beginning. And all that means is that you have to do more. You have to take more action. And that will build self-confidence. And the more that you do it, the better you'll get, and the better you will feel about yourself. And I think more importantly, with all of this, with becoming a high energy person, you cannot break the promises that you say to yourself. If you say you're gonna wake up by a certain time, you need to wake up by that time. If you say you're gonna go to the gym a certain amount of times a week, you need to go to the gym that amount of times a week. And so it's not even so much your big goals that you have set for yourself. It's with the small things. And I think more so than anything, it's those small things that are going to break you down and create friction within yourself, because you're going to become the identity of, I'm not the kind of person that does what they say they're going to do. And that has been my journey, and overcoming that has been a pain in the ass. My theory for myself is that if I focus on becoming a high energy person, one that does not have any internal conflicts within themselves, that I will make more money than I know what to do with. And I think that starts with taking those daily actions, recording content, and just building that self-confidence for myself. That's all for this one. Appreciate you watching. Go be great. See ya. Hot damn. All right, sweat bees.